Today's learning target is I can solve equations with variables on each side.
When we want to solve equations with variables on each side, our first step is to get the variable to one side or the other. Okay, so when I look at this, I have 3 times x, or 3 groups of x, is equal to x plus 8. So I want to either just have the variable on this side or on this side. So I could do this one of two ways. I could either take away 3 groups of x from this side and from this side, or I could take away 1x from this side and 1x from this side. And when I think about it, it's going to be easier to solve this if I just take away 1x from this side and 1x from this side. So to show this, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to subtract an x from this side, and remember, to keep it equal, I have to do the same thing to both sides there. Okay. Now, x, take away x, is nothing, so I'm just going to cross that out. I'm left with 8 on this side, and on this side, I have 3x, and I take away, basically 1x is the same as x, and that gives me 2x. And now I want to get this variable by itself. So this is 2 times x. I could get rid of that 2 by dividing by 2. And if I do it to one side, I do it to the other side. So now 2 divided by 2 gives me 1, so this would be the 1x, which is just the same as x, and on the other side that equals 4. So here's another example. All right, I know step 1 is to get the variable to one side or the other. So I could either take away 7y, or 7 groups of y, from both sides, or I could take away 4 groups of y from both sides. Either way will work. I'm going to take away 4 groups of y from both sides. So to do that, I'm going to subtract 4y, so I start off by writing my problem, and now I'm showing my steps here. I know that cancels out here. Now, on this side, I'm left with negative 10. And on this side now, I have 7y, 7 groups of y, minus 4 groups of y, is 3 groups of y, or 3y, plus 8. Okay? Now I just solve this equation. So my goal is to get this variable by itself. And I remember from solving equations earlier, step 1 is to get rid of anything not attached to the variable. So let's get rid of this plus 8. And to do that, I'm going to take 8 away. I do the same thing to both sides. Okay, that cancels out, and that leaves me with 3y on this side. Now on this side, I have negative 10 minus 8. Remember, we're going to want to add a negative to that. So that gives me with negative 18. And now, when I look at this, I'm going to divide each side by 3. And I'm dividing by 3 because this is 3 times y. So I want to do the opposite. I'm going to divide by 3. That cancels out. That leaves me with y equals negative 6.
All right, let's take a look at this word problem here. It says a personal trainer charges a one-time fee of $60 plus $25 for each individual session. A new fitness club charges a yearly fee of $450 plus $10 for each session with a personal trainer. Write and solve an equation to determine for what number of sessions the costs will be equal. So the first thing I did here was I highlighted or underlined all the important information that I found in here. And then I also underlined what the problem is asking me to find. So I'm looking to write an equation, and I'm going to need to solve it, for what number of sessions the cost will be equal for a personal trainer and a personal trainer at a fitness club. So I know I am going to write an equation here. Ask me to do that. So I'm going to look at this first one. It says $60 plus $25 for each individual session.
So I can start by writing an equation for what the trainer charges. So a trainer charges $60 plus, so okay, it's $60 plus, it says $25 for each individual session. So I know that would be $25 per each session. So I'm going to use the variable s. Now the fitness club, I want to write an equation for what they charge. So they charge $450 plus $10 for each session. So that would be $450 plus $10 for each session, and I'll use S again for the number of sessions. So we're looking to find what number of sessions will the cost be equal. So to do that, I can write out here the cost that the trainer charges, and I know that's how I find that out. And I want to know at what point, or how many sessions, that's going to be equal to the cost that the club charges. And so now it looks similar to the types of problems we've been solving. So step one is to get the variable to one side or the other. So I'm going to take away 10s from both sides. Do that, that cancels out. I'm left with 450 on this side. And over here I have 15s plus 60. Now I want to get rid of what's not attached to the variable. I'm going to run out of space soon here. And when I do that, that cancels out. I'm left with 15s equals 390. And now I divide both sides by 15. And once I do that, I get s equals 26. And it would say how many sessions is the answer, what I'm looking for. So I want to label it sessions. So it would be 26 sessions that you would have to go to in order to have the trainer and the club amount be equal.